Today at the LA Auto Show, Kia brought along the refreshed 2024 Kia Seltos. I think this is one of the most handsome entries in this segment, and they've really added some of the visual flair that we first saw in the refresh for the Korean market, including these LED accent strips right here inside the bumper, and a lot of texturing going on with this revised tiger nose grille going on here. I am curious to see how easy this texturing is to clean, but it really gives it a really kind of cool knurled knob look up front. Now, this is still a subcompact crossover, so this is in the same category as the Hyundai Kona. Something like the new HR-V is obviously a very direct competitor to this as well, and the new Subaru Crosstrek, which should be on sale sometime in calendar year 2023. But unlike the Subaru Crosstrek, which is really just a lifted Impreza hatchback, this has a boxy style all of its own. We get a lot of body cladding just as you'd expect, and a little bit extra ground clearance, so you might want to take a look at this if you're interested in a Kia Soul, but you want something with a more rugged look and all-wheel drive. And that's the big differentiator between this and the Soul, is that the Seltos has all-wheel drive. But the drivetrains are pretty similar to what we find in the Soul. 2-liter engine and a 1.6-liter turbo is available in this model. A lot of folks had been hoping that the new Seltos would end up with a hybrid system under the hood. We'll talk about what's under there in a moment, but a little bit of a spoiler, no hybrid just yet. Out back, we have revised taillights. I love the distinctive light strips that Kia is putting in a lot of their products. Turn signals are over here. We have hashes right there at the brake section. Definitely a more rugged look than you find in the Soul. If you are looking at a Soul and you think to yourself, I want something that's a bit more off-road capable because this has all-wheel drive, the Soul does not, then you might want to take a look at this. There is some storage space available under the load floor. It's also where we find a spare tire. It's really kind of a handy touch, and this has the dual level load floor that we see in so many other Kia products, so it's easy to put a lot of cargo back there. No power hatches available in the Seltos. If you want that particular feature, you are going to have to look at some of the bigger Kia models, but again, we have that flowing but definitely boxier design language than we find in something like the Sportage. This particular model is the top end trim, so of course we have the fancier wheels with 235 with tires on them. These are 18-inch wheels. Jumping in the back seat first, let's take a look at what kind of room we have in here. The front seat is all the way back in its tracks. You can see that I could just barely fit back here. It's a reasonable amount of room. Definitely generous headroom, although it's not as boxy, not quite as upright as we find in the Kia Soul. This is still a subcompact crossover though, so the rear seats are not going to be as generous as something like the Sportage, something in that next category up. And you will find a little bit more room in some of the competition because those models may have a slightly larger interior. Now, jumping into the front seats, let's go ahead and take a look here. You can see that this is very modern Kia as far as the design language goes. We have the new Kia logo, but a very similar steering wheel to the one that we had before. The big change in here is this large dual LCD setup in the dashboard, something that we're seeing spread to all sorts of different Kia products. These are not as large as in the Telluride. These are 10.25-inch screens, but still very, very large as far as a vehicle in this segment. And these screens are significantly larger than the ones that we find in the HR-V, etc. Lots of nice touches going on the dashboard. Soft touch plastics in the middle with some after stitching. That's not a true stitched component. Hard touch plastics on the upper side of the dashboard. One thing that I found interesting is that over here on the driver's side, we have kind of a cutout, which looks like it was made for a heads-up display, but I don't see one currently on the options list for the United States. That may be something that could come later. Single zone automatic climate control below that. Over here we have the regular automatic shifter, lots of room in the center console area, and it uses the latest Kia key with the lock button right there on the side. Another reason to get the Seltos over the Soul or some of the competition is what we find under the hood. There is, of course, a base 2-liter 4-cylinder engine with a continuously variable automatic. Pretty standard fare for a subcompact crossover in the US. But if you want, there's also a 1.6-liter turbo with an 8-speed automatic transmission. And it now produces a bit more power than before, 195 horsepower approximately under this hood. It's not the most powerful iteration of the 1.6-liter turbo, but this is definitely healthier than the outgoing model. I don't have any official fuel economy estimates just yet, but you should expect this to be right in line with the pre-refresh Seltos. If you want to get your hands on the new Seltos, these should be on sale in early calendar year 2023. I will probably know pricing a little bit closer to that on sale date, and hopefully I'll be able to get my hands on one relatively soon. Let me know what you think about the design. I have to say I love some of the touches here, but I do think that the front end has gotten a little bit busy in this generation with the LED accent strip in there, which is kind of cool, but it also clashes with all the other design elements inside. There's just a lot going on with the silver bits, the knurled bits, the lighted bits, the black bits, etc. I think that the pre-refresh design was perhaps not as modern, but was a little bit cleaner themed. However, that said, I love the rest of the design of the Seltos. I also love the big LCDs inside. Who doesn't love big LCDs? If that is something you're looking for, if you want those big screens, you're going to find them really only in this model, in this segment. It really gives the interior a clean theme and a clean look that is more luxury car than mainstream vehicle. Let me know what you think about all that down there in the comment section below, and of course stay tuned because again, hopefully I'll be driving one of these soon. Check out other coverage from the LA Auto Show. I'll see all of you later.